If you guys have been following this channel, you know that I often like to cover the free-to-play offerings on the PlayStation 4. For a long time, free-to-play wasn't a genre that the PS4 or consoles in general just excelled at, but recently speaking, you look at the depth and variety of games offered as free-to-play experiences on the PS4, it's quite ridiculous for a console. And that got added to a couple weeks ago with the release of Caravan Stories. I got to spend a little bit of time with it, and I want to showcase the first 25 minutes of the game. I want to talk a little bit about it, and then we can also transition into some raw gameplay so you guys can see what the game is all about and see if you want to try it out for yourself, because it is a free-to-play title, so there's no investment needed out of your time. And if you're into more Japanese-oriented games, I think a lot of you guys are gonna have some fun out of it. Now, when you start up the game, obviously there is a creation element to it. I'm not gonna say it's the most in-depth creation tool set ever, however, it is pretty good, and seeing all of the little Japanese stylization options, I think that's really great, and that is one of the big elements of this game that I think is gonna be an attractive factor to a lot of you guys. Do you like the Japanese aesthetic style? If you do, that is going to be a major factor in you giving Caravan Stories a shot and getting into the core of the game. But that Japanese aesthetic, when you look at the PlayStation 4's free-to-play games, not a lot of them, maybe any of them, really offer that MMO with a Japanese flair to it, but Caravan Stories really gets that right. And after the Creation Suite, it does transition into your regular MMO RPG experience. But I do want to add that this game, from a visual standpoint, I think is stunning. It's got one of those art styles that I talk about often, and different games employ this in a different way, but it has that style that's gonna hold up really well for a couple of years. I'm not saying that this game has the greatest looking textures in the world or anything like that, or it is bringing the PlayStation 4 to its knees from a technical standpoint. However, it does have a color palette and a presentation style that's gonna make it hold up very well just because of the little elements they get right. So I noticed that being a standout right away as well. Now, once you get into the core of the gameplay, and this has been a real talking point with Caravan Stories, is that yes, from a gameplay standpoint, it is rather simplistic, at least initially, and maybe that could be said for a lot of MMOs, but it doesn't evolve into being this grandiose and over-the-top gameplay experience with a ton of depth and a ton of complexity to it. However, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. A lot of MMOs already have that complexity. A lot of MMOs already have that style of feel, so if Caravan Stories is trying to go for a different audience, it's trying to get a new consumer to try the game out, I think for that reason, that's not the worst thing in the world. Do I want to see some evolution in the combat? Do I want to see some updates being rolled out that add to the combat a little bit more? Sure, but I do not think it needs this significant overhaul. However, at times the game does have a little bit of a mobile feel to it. I don't think it's necessarily, again, the worst thing in the world. It does make it feel a little bit different, but that lack of over-the-top depth is gonna put off some people, but I found it rather engaging still. As far as the combat goes, it is a little bit more automatic, but you can manually fight by using skills at specific moments, which does add a little bit of strategy to the game. But again, if you're expecting the most complex MMO in the world, you're really not going to get that here. I found the story to be rather good as well, again, for a free-to-play MMO with no subscription service. Generally speaking, stories are a little bit hit or miss with games like this, but I thought Caravan Stories, for the time that I spent with it, was rather compelling, and I hope it does evolve into something a little bit more. Now, who would I recommend Caravan Stories for? Again, as I'm going to mention and reiterate over and over when talking about this game, this is not a game I would recommend if you're looking to get super worked up and super invested into this battle system. Rather, it's more of a chill game. It's more of a relaxing game that, yes, it is a lot of fun, but it's a game I think people are gonna find more appreciation out of as a game that you can just kick it and play, not necessarily for 7 to 12 hours at a time like some people do with MMORPGs, but it is a game that you can jump in, play for a little bit. If you do want longer play times, you can have that as well, but you're looking for that more simplistic experience. You're looking for an experience that is engaging to anyone. If you do have a younger sibling or anything like that and you want to get them into a game, if they're a fan of the Japanese presentation, I think the thing about Caravan Stories is it's going to attract an audience that necessarily doesn't want to play a Final Fantasy XIV or a lot of the other MMO offerings. ESO as well. I think ESO is really good, but Caravan Stories offers something a little bit different, and while that might be a little bit off-putting initially, I think overall the experience is pretty good. And again, it is free to play, so at the very least, give it a download, give it a try, and you might end up being surprised by it, and you might have some fun with it. The game has been out for about 2 weeks now, and they've been making some progress as well, so check it out for yourself. I do want to transition into some core gameplay so you guys can see, you know, the town and the movement and everything like that, the gameplay, because I know that's what the majority of you guys are interested in. And again, this is the early portion of the game, so a lot of you guys need to be sold on the game right away, and you want to be captivated by the game in the early portion of it while you're seeing the very early portion of Caravan Stories. So enjoy the gameplay, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
残っているのかしら。行きましょう。そうそう。そうね。やるしかないの？行くわよ。行くよ。よかった。どうかな。やったわ。よかった。頼りにしてね。道をま、こんなものね。パパに見せてやりたいね。お父さん、 やったこれで決めるわと大したことなかったね頼りにしてね
なんてことだ。
ダルキサスのカゴそんな
あんなものが降ってきたのですか？
ポルクお願いみんなを助けて
この後の怪我人の治療に備えて僕はここで準備を。
そんなのダメ許しませんポルクも戦って
やれやれ仕方がない覚悟を決めましょう。
レーナ来るんじゃない。
わあ
大丈
思い知らせてやっ突き飛んじゃえ
夫。いやいやほうみんな聞いてくれ。力を合わせれば必ずできる。おおこっちだ化け物俺が相手をしてやるぞ。
役に立てない。
よしあと少しだ。合図をしたら皆で追い込んでくれ。そのまま崖下に突き落とす。おのれお前に頼みたいことがある。ここフォルカ村の東に祠があるのは知っているな。最深部に私のキャラバンを隠した。ここに持ってきてくれ。持ってこれたら全てを話そう。
行きましょう。そんなのダメだ。そうさあ一緒に
元気かい？そうだね。
いや
わかったわ。
うむ。うむ。うむ。うむ。
うまく扱えるでしょうか？
私に任せて。
そうだ。そうだな。そうだな。
いい感じね。
あ
あれ
そうね。いい戦いだったわ。
もっとうんうん
みんな
パパに見せてやりたいね。やっ
やった、戦闘終了っと。
うん
おかしいな。
何？
どうかな。
なんで？
はあ
もう。 当然ね。
なんてことだ。
いた、引き取っちゃえ。やっ
大丈夫ですか？
やだ。大丈夫か？まだ戦いは終わっていない。いいですね。行くわよ。
治療しますから。
ありがとう。礼などはいい。返答次第で次は我々。なるほど。私の名はソフィア。この祠で多数のゴブリン。とにかくゴブリンどもの不穏だな。いいだろう。
よかった。もっと強くなりたい。
お嬢の臓腑、暗淡の獅子。
お前は私やっ受けてる。とどめだ。風の力よ。
これはいかん。
待て。
何の冗談じゃありませんよ。
そうかしら。そうね、頑張っていきましょう。なんとかなったわね。ギュギュー。